What's up guys, SpartanCat, and in today's Battlecats video, I'm going to be ranking a bunch of units that have been widely considered bad at some point or another, or if they're still being considered bad today. And I'm going to be putting them on an actual tier list to see, are these units actually good, are they bad, are they underrated, slept on, whatever the case might be. Do they deserve their ranking? I'm going to put them on this list and we're going to determine where they are on it, because some of these units might be better than they are made out to be, or time may have helped or hurt their performance. Before I get into the rankings, if you enjoy this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to help our channel grow. And also make sure to comment your thoughts down below. So, getting into the list, our first ranking will be Cheetah Cat, and he promptly goes there. And the reason why is because Ponos designed him to basically make fun of anybody who cheated, and as a result you get this unit if you've hacked, and you don't want him. He's very bad. His stats are the lowest in the game, and that's on purpose. So theoretically no unit could be worse than him, which is depressing, but somebody has to be the worst. Moving on from Cheetah Cat, we have Beefcake Cat, and I'm gonna put him at like a C. I know he's good against some surge units and stuff, so he has situations to shine, but for a lot of the game, and even in his surge niche, he's really just not that good. Very replaceable by Paris Cat and other alternatives along those lines, and all in all, just a really mid unit. Nothing great, but talents do save him a bit. He definitely needs the talents, and if you don't have talents on him, then there's really no point of using him over Paris Cat. Valkyrie. I'm going to put Valkyrie in B, and this is in light of the new talents. And the new talents that have just come out have saved her, because before she had pretty low health damage and all that stuff, but now with the buffs, and additionally she's going to get some freeze buffs and stuff, she's just going to become a lot better, and she's going to get the stats that she needed for years and years and years, because before that, very underwhelming unit, cost a lot, and all in all the stats just weren't there. But now she's going to at least become serviceable, and probably won't be competing for Bahamut Cat or anything like that, but I feel confident putting her at a B tier, because spammable DPS from range with the ability to freeze sounds like a pretty decent unit to me. Obviously not going to be at the top of the list, but the talents will provide her much needed justice. Alright, next we have Mechabun, and if you couldn't already see on the thumbnail, I have a love-hate relationship with him, as many of you guys probably do as well, because I just want him to be good. If I wanted to main him, I would, but the problem is I can't, because he's just so bad. And I know some people are going to look at his stats, and on paper, he has about 100,000 health, he has a ton of DPS, but he has no range, he has no survivability. His niche is pretty garbage because relic enemies eat him like a snack. I mean, he has a niche and he just can't provide anything. So Ponos needs to give him talents, and I will bring that to my deathbed. If they give him talents and a new niche or something, or maybe an ultra form, he'll be saved. But unless if they do that, he's going to remain the worst legend rare. I shouldn't say the worst, one of the worst, because we're going to get to the worst on this list as well. But Mechabun is a big D, which stands for disappointment, and I wish he becomes better, and let's just pray that he does. Alright, moving on, we have Katar, and honestly, for the longest time I thought Archer Cat was the worst unit in the game, and you probably weren't going to be able to convince me otherwise, but I'm actually going to put him at a high C. He could do quite a bit of damage to floating enemies, but I do think he gets outclassed by Cameraman in that regard. But other than that, not a bad unit. I mean, the talents and the true form definitely help him out. Archer Cat is pretty much a laughing stock, but I think Katar has a bit of value, and looking back, I think I judged him pretty harsh. Not a great unit, but he has a place to do something. Alright. Remember I was saying that Mechabun wasn't the worst legend rare? Well, that's because of Filibuster. And although they're on different ends of the D, obviously Filibuster's worse, but I didn't make an F tier for this because I thought Cheetah Cat was gonna kind of engulf that. Cheetah Cat sums it up. So if any other units end up on Cheetah Cat, you know what? I'm going to do something I wasn't going to do. I'm just going to put Filibuster down here. Filibuster is pretty much equivalently as bad as him, because he will pretty much never get an attack off. He costs more, No, Filibuster is bad. He deserves to be in that Cheetah Cat tier. And Cheetah Cat tier is basically below F tier. Filibuster sucks. I'm just going to put it that way. Alright, next we have Nobeluga. He's going to go in D tier. I feel like that's more honest. All in all, though, he's frail. He doesn't do a lot of damage. Just really weak overall stats. So it makes it hard for him to be effective. So I'll leave it off at that. And Papaluga. Man, I just made a video about him yesterday. I wish he was good because kind of similarly to Mechabun, I'm rooting for him. You know, I would max him out. I'd put him on my lineup and I would just wait for him to curse everybody with his big bone. But you know what? It doesn't work like that because he's bad. And if he was better, I'd be one of the first people to use him, but he's just not that good. I'm going to put him over Mechabun just because I feel like there's a few more usages for him. From long range, maybe he could deal some decent damage and survive for a bit, but Mechabun doesn't. He just kind of runs and dies. And similarly to Mechabun, they're both very niche. Their playing time is very, very small. And all in all, they're both disappointing. Never mind Nobeluga as well. These three could pretty much be interchanged in that tier. Alright, Mineko. For a while, I thought Mineko was a really bad unit, despite the low cost and the time you get her in the game. I just didn't see the appeal. But honestly, I'm going to put her in B tier. I think she's a pretty solid critical attacker, and for her price, especially if you use research combos and stuff, you could definitely get her recharge down a bit. But I do think the long recharge is a problem for her, especially with her low health, overall low stats in general. But the true form helps her out a little bit. And I was definitely harsh on her when I was younger. So I'll put her at a B tier. All in all, though, could be outclassed by a lot of other metal units. But for the price and everything, and also all the combos you can get with her and her variants, all in all, not bad, honestly. She gets like a B- or something. Alright, D tier for Dark Cat. Kind of explains itself. The worst normal cat. And the second worst normal cat, I might as well just knock out right here. Flying Cat. You know, they're just both bad. They don't have a lot of time to shine. And even in Empire of Cats, by the time you leave that, they're outclassed. Flying Cat's outclassed by Paris and other attackers like that. And Axe Cat, by the time you get to the first moon, has already been outclassed by Ninja Cat. So both of them are pretty much irredeemable. I'm just not going to put them at Cheetah Cat tier because I don't think either of those units match the wrath of Cheetah Cat or Filibuster. That just wouldn't be fair. We have Coppermine next, and she's also going to get a D. Just overall, a pretty ineffective Uber. Definitely, I'll say she's better than all of the units in this tier. She'll be on the top of D tier right now. We'll put her at the top of D. But all in all, really mid unit. I wouldn't even give her a C because she just lacks the stats and the proper niche to become effective. I feel like a C tier could at least be used in some situations and stuff, but Coppermine is absolutely outclassed in all of the roles that she takes. So it's a shame. I mean, on paper, once again, she has some decent abilities and stuff, but it just doesn't correlate in the game. Moving on from Coppermine. Alright, so Mola Mola used to be one of the worst Ubers in the game, but as you can see, I have this true form here, and I'm going to put it in A. Sometimes he dies quickly, sometimes a shockwave or something will get him, and it feels like you're waiting an eternity, but if you max his talents out, it's almost like having Kazli on your team. Not the same thing, obviously, Kazli's better, but Mola Mola is a fantastic unit, can get his talents. I just love having him in the back lines. He just obliterates units. He keeps them away from your troops, and he attacks relatively quickly, so he has a ton of uptime on his attack and his surge. And if you can stack him, even more power to you. I won't put him in S tier because of his survivability issues, but the 80% dodge chance is definitely a huge asset for him. And if you could guard him, he could stay alive for a long time. So that definitely counteracts the low health for the most part. And I am a little reluctant to put him in S tier just because I save that for like the best of the best. But he is a very good unit, and he's a ton of fun to use. So if you have the extra MP and the materials to bring him up to true form and talent him, then go for it, because he is a blast. Literally, he has surge. Alright. Next, we have Bikini Luga. Last but not least, gonna get a D tier, but could also be another type of D tier if you know what I mean. Alright guys, so that is today's ranking. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another upload. And also, make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Feel free to discuss whatever you guys want. Just make sure to keep everything civil. Spartan Cat signing off, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.